Hey YouTubers, I said I would make another little clip when these things was ready to come off of the mold. So here we are. This is what it looks like after I've done quite a bit of shaping with the shore form. This is like a cheese grater type scraper in this. I'm sure you've seen them at home supply stores, Lowe's, Home Depot, places like that. So I did quite a bit of this scraping down of this, taking the rough pieces off. And there's about 3 layers of this automotive bondo, this stuff, on there now. Bondo brand body filler. It comes out of that can there, and it's a gray material. And you put about a dime-sized blob of cream hardener after you knead it in the tube. You put a little bit of this cream hardener in it, stir it up for the amount that you can dip out of the can on a paint stir stick. You don't want to make too big a blob of it at a time because it hardens pretty quickly. And depending on how much of this hardener you put in, the more hardener you put in, the quicker it hardens up, and the less time you have to work with it. So only get out enough that you think you can get smoothed out before it starts getting hard on you. Don't let it sit too long before you start trying to do your cheese grating to pull them rough pieces off of from smearing that on with your little plastic spatulas. When you smear this stuff on there, you have these lines in it that's raised up. They have to be pulled down kind of smooth before you can do any sanding. If you wait too long, this gets too hard, and then you wind up having to work it down with, in this case it's a wood chisel and a flat wood rasp, as well as a half round wood rasp. So you wind up having to work it down with one of these, which takes a lot more time. Then I use, I use 80 grit drywall sanding screen. This can also be purchased at Lowe's and Home Depot and home supply centers. And I fold it up like that, and I use that. That works it down pretty quickly. 80 grit is as far as you have to go with as far as sanding. Now you can use sandpaper if you want to. That's 100 grit, but it sands it down even smoother. Now in this one, like I said, I was going to show you what it looks like when it comes off of the mold. I've taken a box cutter type knife, and I went around the edges of it, and I sliced that excess bondo and aluminum tape and fiberglass tape. I sliced that off up even with my edge of my mold along the outer rim of this, as well as around the top. Then you stick your hand inside it and just kind of give it a twist, and it comes off. This is what it looks like after it comes off the mold. And you see what I'm talking about now? The throat inside this is smaller than it's going to be when I get this one done. The throats of these two are going to be smaller. The throat of this one is going to be smaller than the throat of this. And the shape's going to be somewhat different. Quite a bit of difference in the shape of the bell or the trumpet. Now, this one I haven't started any bondo on it yet. That'll be next. But this is a completed, well, not quite complete. I got to put another little layer of thin layer of bondo on this outside to take care of some of the deeper scratches that were made with the rasp, with a half round rasp, as well as the inside of this will be covered with I'll take a piece of sandpaper, about 100 grit, and I'll sand this to kind of rough it up a little bit. Then I'll put a thin layer of bondo in this. I'll have to smear it on. I'll put a rubber glove on the hand, and I'll smear the bondo in there with my fingers and get it up in there just as far as I can, but keeping it smooth so that I don't have to do a lot of sanding on this side of it. And all that's for is to cover the aluminum tape up. Now this aluminum tape was put on there in pieces. You cut your 3-inch pieces at a time, and you lay it across your mold. And I'll lay this one back down. This again, like I said, was my mold that I made. It made the same way as the horn trumpet is made, but I'm using this as a mold so that I can keep reusing it over and over again. Now, these pieces of aluminum tape that we used, cut off little pieces 3 inches at a time, pull the paper backing off, place the shiny side down against the mold, kind of fold it over till it kind of sticks on the underside of this. And once you get that first piece on there, the rest of them kind of go on pretty easy. The first piece is a little difficult. It wants to try to scoot around on you because it's trying to stick to your fingers. But once you get the first piece put on there, start off with another piece, and then another piece, and then you keep working your way up until you get it completely covered with the aluminum tape, sticky side out. Alright, and then when you get to the top, you can kind of just fold it over the edge, because you're going to be cutting it off with this knife after you've got your bondo on. Now, this one is ready to start another one using the aluminum tape, the fiberglass tape, the bondo, and then it will eventually come out looking like this. And like I said, I've still got to put another layer of bondo in this one, and this weighs maybe 3-4 ounces, well, maybe 3 ounces is all this weighs. Now, and I was telling you about putting the piece of, sliding it over your piece of 3/4 inch pipe. Once it comes off that mold, this hole is a little bit larger than a piece of 3/4 inch pipe. See, it's quite loose. So you're going to have to do something about making this a little bit larger. The inside of this stays the 3/4 inch diameter, but the outside of it has to be built up in order to make this fit. So what I usually do is I take the aluminum tape and I start building it up around it to make it fit. Okay, to make it fit my cone. Now just barely let that thing stick through just far enough to not disrupt the flow of air as it comes out this, because that's what gives you your melodious tone. That has to be smooth. As the air comes out, it wants to be smooth. You want to not have any obstructions in here. So I build my piece of 3/4 inch pipe up to fit the cone. Alright. This then is used, after this is made so that it fits tight, I use it then when I'm tuning the horn. Now, in order to tune the horn, you need to have Dozer Boy Miller's plan book to build the power chamber, and that contains the diaphragm, the retaining rings, and the gaskets, and those pipe fittings that is used in conjunction with these pieces of 3/4 inch pipe, and then either the transmission filler funnel or these cones like I've built this one. Now, once I'm finished with this, it'll be primered and painted, and like I said, it'll be built up to where it'll fit that piece of pipe and fit tight, slide down on it tight, so that I can use it in doing the tuning, because at times this has to slide on back, and then you take it back off and you cut a piece off, slide it on back and cut another piece off, and try to tune again, slide it on back until you get the right note. So I thought I'd let you know how what this thing turned out to look like after I put my bondo on it. This has got 3 coats on it. And like I said, I'm going to have to do another thin coat on the outside and sand it down smooth. And I'll probably use 100 grit sandpaper to take all the grooves out of it, all of the scratches. And then I'll take and put a thin layer of bondo on the inside of this to cover this aluminum up, and to seal it where the pieces, the little 3-inch pieces or so, were all put around there in just piecemeal type, and cover up all these little fine lines that was made by the burnishing. Remember I was telling you about the burnishing, taking the piece of pipe, a piece of 3/4 inch plastic pipe or whatever to burnish with, or anything that's round and hard. You don't want nothing sharp, because it'll scrape your fiberglass off. Something kind of round, either hardwood handle of a putty knife, a piece of 3/4 inch pipe, a piece of aluminum pipe, anything that you got to use to burnish this with. And it presses those wrinkles that's in this aluminum tape, it presses them down, just makes fine lines in it. So then when you kind of scuff this with sandpaper, your bondo will stick to it. Once that's done, you get all your grooves out of it. Like I said, you don't want to have any protrusions in here to disrupt the airflow that's coming out. Then you can primer it and paint it whatever color you desire. I think these are going to be my E2B1s. This is going to be one of the cones, and I'm going to be building this up a little bit bigger as it comes back after I get the horn tuned to the right note. I'll be building this up a little bit larger, because the trumpet or the bell on that E2B1 on the E2 horn, this is kind of large and straight as it comes back through here. It's not as tapered as this. So this is going to be being built up some as it comes back here to the power chamber. So I'm going to try to make it look as much as I can like the horn bell of the real E2 Westinghouse Airbrake Company E2 horn. So I hope this video was informative, and I hope you've gleaned enough information from it to where it will help you in your build. So all I'm doing is wishing you good luck and happy honking. Thanks for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, rate it up, and we'll be posting another one when I get all 3 of them built. I'll post another video of that horn and with a sound test, and we'll see how we go from there. Thanks again for watching, and everybody have a wonderful and blessed day.